initial thoughts were, I love it. I love this bag. I want this bag. I'm going to buy this bag. So why am I making a video talking to you about why I will not be buying this bag? Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I want to talk to you about the Louis Vuitton Pochette Metis, and specifically the new version of the Pochette Metis, which is the East-West version. Louis Vuitton have had the Pochette Metis in circulation for quite a number of years now. Whenever this bag was first released, it was so hard to get. This bag was hyped, it was all over social media, it was on wish lists across YouTube. Many of us wanted to have it, and many of us waited, many of us tried to get it and eventually secured this bag. I myself was one of them. I had the Pochette Metis. I loved the Pochette Metis. I really like the satchel style of the Pochette Metis. I love Louis Vuitton monogram. So this bag was right up my street, but unfortunately mine was one of the bags that had a glazing issue and it had to be returned to Louis Vuitton as faulty and it had to be replaced. Step forward a few months, years, and they have now introduced the Louis Vuitton Pochette Metis in the East-West version, and I will put in some photographs of what this bag looks like. When this bag initially came onto my radar on social media, my initial thoughts were, I love it. I love this bag. I want this bag. I'm going to buy this bag. So why am I making a video talking to you about why I will not be buying this bag? Okay, let's get into that. So whenever I first looked at it, I really liked the style of this bag. I like the size of it. I like the chain that hangs from it. To be honest with you, the bags that I wear regularly now, the new East-West version is probably a better fit for me than the older traditional Pochette Metis. It's smaller, it probably suits my bag choices better. When I first saw stills and photographs of this, I wasn't 100% convinced, but then a friend of mine who is on the waiting list and has pre-ordered this bag showed me a video of it being tried on, and when I saw the video of this being tried on, I fell in love with this bag. I thought it was absolutely stunning, and I thought, yes, that's going on my wish list. I'm going to buy this bag. Why did I then change my mind? Then, well, I stepped back for a moment and considered it. That would be sensible for such an expensive purchase. I considered it. I looked at the bag more closely. I looked at the price of the bag, and I started to think, why are you buying this bag? Let's talk about this. Firstly, let's talk about the price. Now, I am a Louis Vuitton lover. Let's get that out of the way. So this is not somebody that's dissing on Louis Vuitton. I am a Louis Vuitton monogram lover. So this is also not somebody that is saying, don't buy canvas bags, or Louis Vuitton monogram is done. I can't stand that phrase. Or Louis Vuitton monogram is over, or it's basic. I hate that phrase even more. I am not any of those people. I am one of these people that absolutely loves the Louis Vuitton monogram. So it's nothing to do with it being canvas or monogram. It's more to do with, one, the price. So this bag is €2,150. That for a canvas bag is a lot of money. It is more expensive than the traditional Pochette Metis. It is probably one of the most expensive bags, canvas bags, that you can buy from Louis Vuitton. That is not the Petite Malle, which is very expensive for a canvas bag, but it is one of the hard-sided bags, and that's why the cost of this is so much more. The cost was one of the things that initially made me think, are you sure you want to spend this amount of money on a canvas bag when you have a number of canvas bags? Are you sure you want to spend this amount of money on what is probably, for me, a casual bag to wear crossbody that is canvas? And my answer to that was yes, I do. Yes, I do. Take my money, get me on the list and give me the bag. So I would love to tell you it was the price, and I thought the bag was not worth that price, or I thought it was too significant of a price. But that is not what put me onto the side of not buying it. Although I do think if you are considering this bag, the price is something to consider carefully, because it is one of the most expensive Louis Vuitton canvas bags. There are other options that you could buy, other options that you could get for underneath the £2,000 euro bracket that are equally very attractive bags, will do the same job. One example is this, although this is obviously more casual because it has the fabric strap. I think the Pochette Metis in the East-West has the black leather strap. but this has the chains across coming down it. I think the one on the Pochette Metis is a little bit thicker, but it has the chain, it has a similar look. There are options that you can get that are a better price range than what the new Pochette Metis is. But the reason that I have decided not to buy the new East-West version, even though I think it's very, very attractive, is, does it look familiar? Whenever I looked at it, I got swept up on, oh, I like that. I like the look of that. I think that's pretty. But I think it's very similar to this bag. And I know there's already been a little bit of criticism and a little bit of discussion on how are Louis Vuitton running out of ideas, because the Pochette Metis East-West is effectively the Pochette Metis squished down a little bit and a little bit longer. Personally, I still really like it. I think that the change of the design, making it that little bit smaller, making it that little bit longer, I think is a plus. I think it looks, for somebody that likes smaller bags like myself, I really like the chain hanging from it, although you could obviously add a chain to your traditional Pochette Metis, but I actually really do like it. So the fact that it is a slight variation or a change of an existing design isn't what put me off it and made me decide not to buy it. The fact that it is Louis Vuitton reusing designs and potentially running out of motivation for new designs isn't what put me off it. It's that I think it's very, very similar to this. And I think that they have taken, this is just my opinion, nobody has phoned me from Louis Vuitton headquarters, I would, and said, by the way, Amelia, whenever we were deciding to design that bag, this is what we were thinking. That phone call didn't happen, shock. But my opinion is that it's very similar to this. And I'm going to put a photograph in of the bag beside this to let you have a look at the two. It's monogram, obviously. It has the chain, which is very, very similar to this. This has the same S-lock as the Pochette Metis does, so it looks very similar to this. Although I get totally that this is a circle, so this is a cone, and the Pochette Metis is not a cone, and the Pochette Metis has a handle here, which adds something different. But as a bag to wear, for me, when I look at this one, and I think that I would be wearing these bags, both of them, crossbody, they're very, very similar. Now, some people may say to me, well, that's not really sense, because these two are very, very similar, and they are similar in that you wear them both crossbody. To me, this is much more casual than this. That is an everyday throw on, run around bag when I go to the park or I'm going, I think it's a great everyday bag. This one, I think, is a little bit less casual than that. But the Pochette Metis in the East-West, I think, is very, very similar. And I think for me, and I know that I am sitting here as a hypocrite, and I know that I have Chanel minis, for example, in lots of different colours. But the different colour is what makes it a different bag for me. And the different colour is what makes it work with different outfits or different occasions. The East-West of the Pochette Metis, I just think it really gives me vibes similar to this. It gives me vibes similar to probably a number of existing Louis Vuitton designs. I don't think it's a million miles away from the multi-pochette. If we look at the length and the shape of the back pocket of the multi-pochette, I appreciate it's more substantial than that, and it has the same accordion style satchel type bag that the traditional Pochette Metis had. It's just a shorter version. I appreciate that, but it really reminds me of that. It reminds me of this same lock, the chain, the monogram, although this one is a canvas strap. I believe the East-West has a leather strap. It's very, very expensive for a canvas bag, so to buy it as well as having some of these other existing bags, for me, I think feels very duplicitous. It feels like I'm duplicating what I have. It feels that I'm repeating bags that I already have. I no longer have the Pochette Metis, but I can understand somebody thinking, well, I have the original Pochette Metis. Why would I need the new version of it? Because it's very, very similar to it. It's just a shorter version. So I can understand people having that bag thinking, why am I going to buy this again? For me, it's having this bag that I am thinking, why would I buy the East West as well? As much as I think it's very attractive. So I think you are in a different position if you own none of these bags. If you don't have a crossbody canvas Louis Vuitton bag, I actually think it's a very attractive version. It's around about the same price as this. This is called the Papillon trunk. This is similar to the trunk collection, which are these. Now obviously this is hard-sided and this isn't, so it's not exactly the same. But I have to be honest and say I'm surprised the price is as high as it is. I'm surprised the price is near enough the same as this. I thought this was quite expensive for a canvas bag, but I got around it in my mind by it being one of the trunks, I suppose. I also got around it by you can take this off and use this without the strap, almost a bit the way that I do use the Pochette Metis. You can do that with the East-West version, but I think it's a more casual bag than this. I think the price is something you have to consider because I do think it's expensive for canvas bags. I also think there's a risk that there could potentially be the same problems. Now, that probably wouldn't put me off buying it, but I do think you need to be aware of it. So whenever my glazing cracked in the gusset on my Pochette Metis, Louis Vuitton accepted it back without difficulty. The exchange process was very, very clean and simple. So that would give me confidence to buy it directly from the boutique in case something did go wrong with it and I could then bring it back. So it would be playing on my mind if I went to buy this that there may potentially be the same issues. I know they have sorted the issues out to a certain extent, and I know that people will report that if you've bought a more recent Pochette Metis, there haven't been the same difficulties. But just with the level of difficulties they did have, I would be wary that they can't completely fix that and how long those difficulties went on, and I would be concerned that it may happen to the East-West version, and I would be keeping an eye on it. I'm not saying that would be definitive for me not buying it, but I would definitely be checking it to see if anything come up in it or to see whether or not there needed to just be any returns or anything looked at by Louis Vuitton, so I would definitely keep an eye on it. But the reason I'm not buying it, I think ultimately comes down to the fact that I think it's very, very similar to designs they already have and bags that I already own. And the one that specifically draws my mind is this. And I get, as I've said, that this is a circle and the shape is different. But if you're looking at this bag, if I'm wearing this bag crossbody and you're looking at this bag on me crossbody, so you're seeing the front of it here with the clasp and you're seeing the chain, what you're seeing on the East-West Pochette Metis, in my opinion, crossbody is very similar to this. I appreciate there's a handle. I appreciate it's a slightly different shape and it's a satchel shape from the side, but I think it's very, very similar. So ultimately the reason that I'm not buying it is because I think it's just too similar to canvas bags Louis Vuitton have already released that I own. And I don't think that I can justify buying another version effectively of this that is so similar for €2,150. I think I would struggle whenever it came to wearing one of these, that I could wear this for the same occasion that I would be wearing the East-West. I think I would be choosing between them as to which one do I want to wear today, but I think they would fill the same role in my wardrobe. It's not adding a different colour. It's not really adding that much of a different shape. It's not really adding that much of a different silhouette. It's not really adding that much of a different option for me. And that's why I've taken the decision that I'm not buying it. And I'm being quite sensible for once. And I'm stepping back and just thinking this is too much for me of the same thing at €2,150. And of course I'm setting that against the backdrop. When I had this bag and the multi-pochette and the Nano Speedy and the Palm Springs Mini, I didn't use them all. I don't have enough need for that many crossbody monogram canvas bags. I used this one when I wanted something that little bit more quirky, that bit more different, that bit more eye-catching. This holds quite a lot. and I use that one as a grab and go, got the children playing, going to the park. I use that bag a lot in circumstances like that. I found then that I didn't use the Palm Springs Mini or the Nano Speedy. So I think if I were to bring in the Pochette Metis East West, I would be in the same position where I had 3 bags, which I actually think are all quite similar. The overall look of them is quite similar. I think Louis Vuitton are being quite repetitive of the overall look, that I do not think that I would need 3 of these bags, and I don't think that there would be a justification for me buying the East West and adding it in when I already have these 2. So that is my reasoning why I'm not buying the new Pochette Metis bag. That being said, I think it's very attractive. I think if you don't own any of these bags, it's a different position. I think if you don't own any of these bags, it's a really lovely option as a monogram crossbody bag to own. I think that it would fill the same position these do, and I think it would be very usable. So if you're in that position, I think it's something to consider, although just bear in mind the price point for a canvas bag and the issues the Pochette Metis have had previously. If you do buy one, make sure you keep your proof of purchase, make sure you buy it from the store in case there's any problems, that if it does crack that you can take it back and you have your store history for that, just to keep yourself protected. This is not something I would be buying probably pre-loved or from a reseller, because I would want that protection from the store if something went wrong. So those are my reasons as to why I am not buying the East West Pochette Metis. I hope this has been informative for you. If you've thought about this bag or bought this bag, I would love to hear from you in the comment box as to why you decided to go ahead and buy it. If you've thought about it and decided against it, equally, I would love to hear your views down in the comment box. So please do get involved. Thank you so much for joining me. If you've enjoyed this, please do give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. I would love it and it helps my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching me. Please take care, and I will see you again in the next one.